What I liked about the training is one, that it uses both the AI Force AI and then the ChatGPT AI, and that you could follow along with both. I also like that it was very Salesforce centric, where you could learn about validation rules, and then it slowly ramped up to Stockwell, and then eventually triggers, and then also capturing the limitations. So you kind of get the full breadth of Salesforce in the context of AI. This training helps me convey to hiring managers, recruiters, colleagues, anyone in my network really, that I can leverage AI to think through Salesforce solutions, or even use AI as a tool to be able to build or configure Salesforce. Similar to kind of how I would have Google in my back pocket, just ready at the research, or even Salesforce help articles, I now just have a tab open for AI, and just kind of thinking about, is this AI, is this problem something I can leverage AI for? So one of the craziest things I learned was one of the things that I used to do was having to kind of data manipulate states into like a validation rule or a formula, and being able to just leverage AI to generate that, even though it's something that I know how to do as a Salesforce professional, is things like that, being able to generate these formulas, validation rules, SQL queries, and complicated ones at that, is really, really exciting. The training goes through the different styles that you can use AI, but just being able to kind of hop between the different styles of pro, guide, and gambler, to be able to come to those solutions much quicker, I think is really cool, especially depending on your skill level. Like if you don't know something, having AI being kind of a next step of knowledge kind of helps, especially if you just have it on the ready. I went through the training kind of in two minds. One as a beginner, and then one as a professional. So, starting out with the validation rules, like, oh yeah, I could probably write a validation rule. Like, why would I why would I use AI? And then kind of going through the other examples of like, wait, I could prompt AI to go and make these more complicated validation rules. And then this is my own personal thing, where I could just chat with AI, like voice to or speech to text AI. I'm like, oh, I could kind of speak out loud the validation rules that are in my head with AI, and it can generate something really cool. And then on the flip side, from a beginner perspective, say I didn't really know validation rules, I can kind of put myself in that position because I was there once. I could just ask AI, hey, I have to create this validation rule, and then being able to, the training specifically walks through, like, in the context of Salesforce, here are prompts or different ways that you can prompt the AI to get you to a validation role, and then it's kind of up to you to kind of check the responses. But it would be a really great way to learn, rather than having to build something from scratch. You need to be able to research Salesforce solutions, because problems are going to come at you that you're just not going to be familiar with. Salesforce is such a huge platform. Can you research it? And so with AI continuing to advance, just knowing more about how to leverage it with your Salesforce solutions, I think that's kind of the unspoken, maybe soon to be written, kind of reality that we're going to come up against. I mean, I've already seen one job posting that that had like GPT familiar in one of the bullet points. So I think businesses are starting to recognize how useful it is, not just in Salesforce, but for other industries. One of them is like, AI is not very good at math. I think that was actually in one of the other the other modules. So that was one of them, because I did notice some formulas, the math is a little wonky. But the second biggest limitation that really caught my eye was the hallucinations. Like, AI is very confident in what it says, even though it's just flat out wrong. sometimes. And so that one, just kind of keeping in mind, like, to always take AI with a grain of salt, in the sense that, like, it might just not be factual. I know there are some, like, for example, there are certain Salesforce release updates that AI just hasn't been trained on. So if you ask it a question, for example, related to restriction rules, AI is just not going to know that unless it has access to the like Google results. So and even then, it still might be wrong. So that was the biggest kind of like, oh, this is a big one to keep in mind, is it's just going to be confidently wrong sometimes.